So one of the things that I've observed in community is some interesting, what you might call dynamic tension between two different views of community. This is interesting to me because it affects harmony and connection and trust and conflict. So one of them I see as a relational dynamic, and another I see as a developmental dynamic. So let's see if I can characterize this in a way that makes sense. Let's say there's folks in community whose way of being in community is from the heart out and from the how do we relate to each other. That's the thing. Do I like you? Do you like me? How are you doing? Are you doing okay emotionally? Do you have emotional upset? How can I support you? How can I nurture you? How can I give you helpful feedback? It's about how we get along together. It's about the ever-changing flux or dance of interpersonal relations between all of us. Are we looking out for each other? And I'm painting this in kind of a polarity way, like one-sided, but it's not really that way. But now I'm going to go to the other side. Are we accomplishing our goals? What did we come here to do? I have an idea for how we could do this. Actually, a group of us wants to do this here. And here's our proposal through our governance process, and here's our budget, and here's what we'd like to do. Since our community exists to do this and this and this, for this and this reason, this project here would help us meet our goals and develop the community. We need a community building. We need a road and a bridge over there. We need to develop this agricultural parcel. We need to create this program and physical space for our children. We need to create this kitchen addition. We need to repair this whatever. And we're looking at physical infrastructure and project infrastructure that creates jobs and or creates demonstration models for others if that's what we're doing, or creates that we meet our goals to be more sustainable because we install these solar panels or this micro hydro unit, and we're focused on that. Now, are we also interested in the well-being of people? Oh, sure. Are we also interested in how do I feel and how do you feel and are we getting along? Sure, yes. And over here, us relational folks, are we interested in us meeting our goals? Well, sure, of course. But let's put us all together in a decision-making circle where we're using, say, pure consensus, and any of us can stop a proposal that's in the center. And let's say a lot of us want a particular proposal, but some of us are coming mostly from the strategic direction or mostly from the relational direction, and that proposal violates what we think we're about. So we want to stop it, or modify it, or change it, or reduce it, or say, not at this time, or gee, I'm not willing to make that decision now, or oh, no, no, no. And we can get into conflict about how do we use our resources of time, labor, and money. Or, here's another example of how this can come into play in community. So-and-so there is very, very upset about this proposal that we're going to implement. We're going to build that bridge there. And this person here is very upset. And a bunch of us that were relational people go to this upset person and nurture them because we don't want them to be upset, and we feel responsible for how upset they are because we're in community, and the way we see what community is about is I am my brother and sister's keeper. And the folks over here who are strategic are saying, oh, for God's sakes, get over it. We already agreed to do this. And others are saying, no, 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 we can't be building that bridge because this person is upset. And these people are saying, now is when we have the labor, now is when we have the time, and now is when we have the community agreement. Come on, we got to follow our governance that we have and do it. Please could this person just deal with their issues themselves? We're not responsible for them. Why, you heartless, cruel bastards? Why, you touchy-feely people who aren't thinking? You aren't being the right kind of person in community. That's not community. You aren't allowing us to meet our goals to create the community we agreed to. That's not community. Meanwhile, this person who's upset is a the trigger point, but the real issue isn't really this person who's upset or that bridge. The real issue is our differing ways of looking at what community is about. So these folks would say, if you're not willing to deal with the real things that come up in the real emotional life of our community, then you don't get what community is. And these people are saying things like, if you think that we're responsible for the interior emotional landscape of people who get upset about things, then you're doing therapy, not community, and that's not what we've signed up for. Have that person grow the hell up. So where do you suppose I am in this dichotomy? Let's see, where would I be? I'm over here, that's where I am. I'm always looking at the well-being of the group in the long term. Why are you together? What are you doing? Why did you agree to do this? What is it that you hope to accomplish, and for what purpose? Are you there for your own comfort, which for some people they might be. I mean, for some communities that might be their goal, which is fine. Or are you there to affect change in the world, which is the community I'm in, is what we're trying to do. So I would really like, if I could have some say in this, if I could say, oh, here's what I think we should do, is that the two groups talk openly about their viewpoints about community and help the other group get a sense of their perspective. And instead of this being fights under the surface with issues that no one's talking about because it's too subterranean for people to know, bring it up to the light of day, talk about it, and say, how can we be very clear while we're being very compassionate? Can we have both clarity and compassion? Can we meet our goals, move forward towards our goals, nurture and be kind to the people who are upset, but not have the upset people stop us unless the person brings a proposal through the governance that we already have, that we've already agreed on, and then we discuss the merits of the proposal and we pass it or not. So it's coming through the channel of our governance, our proposals, our discussion in the group, rather than the channel of my upset will trump our decisions, which I have seen in some communities sometimes. There's another dichotomy and dynamic tension thing that I can see happening in communities that I think is subconscious or subterranean. And it's like this. We view the community, subconsciously perhaps, as an entity that we're creating and growing and nurturing and bringing along through time. We started it needs this and this and this. Now we've gotten to this stage. Now it's like a toddler. And now we're bringing it along. Now it's like this stage, it's like a small child. Sometimes it needs more money, sometimes it needs more time, sometimes it needs more labor. But we have to repair the roof. Oh, we have to get this kind of insurance. We didn't think about that. Oh, here's a hole in our process we never thought of. Let's create an agreement about when somebody wants to marry someone who's not a member, can they live here? We'll come up with a policy to help it work out well for all of us. We keep nurturing and rearing and raising the community and developing it. We have a developmental model. Subconsciously we see ourselves as the parents, and it's our child, and we're raising it. Compare this to another viewpoint, which is like this. The community is bigger than me, and we are its children. We are its recipients of its largesse. I'm having trouble, and I need some help. The community should help me. The community owes me. It's like my mom. The community is a mother, and we're the children. And I don't make enough money here. I need the community to pay me for my community tasks. Really, it should pay me, because I need this. Mom, I need this. I'm having difficulty and I need help. The community should put its resources of time and energy to help me with this thing I need. Because basically the community is my mom and it should take care of me. Now, I would say that's real subconscious. And if you asked a person, they'd be insulted. I certainly don't think of the community as my mother and me as a child. But look at what they want, what they ask for, what they feel entitled to. So if there are two groups of people in the community, and this of course is not black and white, and it's not so cut and dried, different people will have different degrees of this feeling in them, and perhaps different degrees at different times. But there it is, it's way subterranean, the group's not talking about it, and they're trying to decide how to allocate their resources of time, labor, or money. And they've got some conflict, and some people think the community ought to da-da-da-da for us, and other people are thinking you ought to do that yourself. What we need this money for is for the community to meet its goals like this. Conflict. Interesting, huh?